Hey Stephanie, good morning. I think you're still muted. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi Alex, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for your patience. Sorry, I was running a little late here.
Oh, that's okay. I just worried that I didn't do something right or you just never know.
Thank you. So I'm super excited that we had a chance to connect. I love seeing some of those photos of the project. I can share a little bit sort of about Corazon and what we're doing, and then I'm excited to hear from you, and I have some questions that I can ask. Um, so in terms of what we're doing, so Corazon del Pueblo, we're the Cultural and Creative Arts Center for the Santa Maria Valley. We work with all different art forms, all types of artists, and our focus is really on, uplifting the local artistic community, and creating opportunities for people to come together, and especially to create more opportunities for young people and emerging artists, especially to gain skills and connect with established and working artists. We're for this particular project, we're highlighting children's art and kids' art, really trying to emphasize the value of art at all ages, and also, sort of role modeling that, just all of the great things that come when kids play and are artistic and creative, and trying to just highlight that for our community as a role model, and inspire others to do similar projects or come up with their own.
That sounds great. Mhm.
Do you have any questions for me before I start asking you things?
I don't know. I spent some time right before we started talking looking at your website and seeing all the people that are involved in the projects that you guys have going on, and it looks like a lot of exciting um, it looks like there's a lot of exciting things going on for youth. So I don't have any questions right now, but I might come up with one as I'm listening and your questions to me.
Cool, that sounds great. So to start off, I guess if you could just share a bit about the project that you just completed at the Native Garden in Guadalupe, and sort of what the inspiration for that was and how it went.
Okay. Well, I love to do art and I love to do art with kids. And so when the Peace Academy, we were kind of coming up with our new programming for this time period. I was hoping to do a mural project, and one of the thoughts we had was, well, how can we do some sort of a project that's actually going to benefit a community? And since I live in Guadalupe and I've been here about 22 years, I know about my community, and I reached out to the family that curates the Guadalupe Native Plant Garden and just asked them, hey, would you be interested in having a mural in the garden? And they were totally interested. It happened to fall on their 10-year anniversary, just right around the 10-year anniversary of when they started the garden, when the Dune Center oversaw the garden being put in. And so it just worked out.
Awesome, that's great to hear, and thanks for sharing a bit about this project and also like the broader history of how the Native Garden even came to be in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, that's really great to hear. So I'm looking at the final mural right now. It's so beautiful, and I was wondering if you could just share about some of the imagery, the symbols, the colors that are in there.
Sure, sure. Well, originally let's see, I had reached out to students and asked, because we were in the pandemic, we were kind of limited. Ideally, I would ideally like to meet in person with students and say, hey, we're going to be creating a mural for this garden. What do you think we should put into it? But we didn't have that opportunity, and it was kind of more of a quick turnaround project. So I created a sheet basically that I sent to all the students online, talking about the goal for the project, that we were going to come up with this mural and we needed to have a mural that would attract visitors and make any person walking by the garden want to come into the garden, want to see it. So I asked her kids to give me feedback. And I got 3 or 4 drawings. This was one of them. One of the students sent this back. Another student just kind of did a part way right here. I had another student that sent a drawing. Um, and then I had one that came over text that I couldn't really print out, but it was just um, a picture with a lot of carnivorous plants in pencil. And then I had a child that sent some words saying plants and pollinators. Another student who told us that she wanted to see a person thinking about peace. And so I tried to take all those ideas together and come up with a mural design that somehow incorporated them. So the kind of the bubbliness in the clouds and the waves that normally you cannot see from where we are in Guadalupe, because there are some dunes to get out to the ocean. So we kind of tried to incorporate the common elements that the kids had. Um, like I said, a lot of those drawings, well, several of those drawings had kind of the sun, the rays of the sun, and here you can see some water effects in the clouds. So I just tried to use what I had from everybody and to make it make sense. And some of the, like, I don't know if you've had a time to look really closely, but at the mural, but I ended up putting a carnivorous plant right up here, a Venus flytrap, and then I titled plants and pollinators. This is an actual, like a little library, kind of like the little library you guys had featured on your website. That's something that you guys have put in. They actually have a little library as well. So whatever I couldn't quite get in, I ended up putting as a book in the little library. So that's how it all came together. There were not a lot of I wasn't so focused on colors. I was focused on just trying to incorporate everybody's ideas.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the detail in the little library. And I didn't see that Venus flytrap, so thanks for pointing that out. And I see one of them also says thoughts of peace. That's really cool. I love that. And yeah, I love the connection too with the little library. We're super excited. We have Ruben Espinoza is going to do a design for us for the outside of it.
Nice.
He'll be sharing that at an event we're doing on Friday. But yeah, I just love seeing all those tie-ins, and I think it also really reflects, to me it resonated with kind of like what you're saying about how it's for the community, right? And it's in the native garden, right? And tying in those aspects. I see even the it looks like a little shovel in the bottom left there,
Yes.
kind of like actually tending the land, and caring for plants. I love seeing all those details.
Yeah. Part of the project as well was that besides just painting the mural, the students had an opportunity to go visit the garden, and the family that curates the garden each week created little seed packets for the kids. So once they finished painting, they could go and actually take the packets. They could go to the garden. We created a little coloring book with about 6 or 7 plants that they would find in the garden, and so we tried to make it like an all-inclusive type event, so that it wasn't, even though they were painting and they might not um, go on during the day to visit the garden, they could go if they wanted, or they could come back another time.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear the connections. And yeah, my next question was going to be sort of what was it like working with the kids to actually do the painting process?
Okay. Well, the part online was, like I said, there wasn't a lot of work. You just hope you're going to get some feedback, and I got a nice amount of feedback. I would have loved to get more, but you just never know. So that part was it was painless for me. Then once we had the kids there, I because I was told I needed to socially distance the students, we ended up cutting the painting board into 4 1 by 8 pieces, and I spread those out on tarps. And so each little group or like a kid and maybe family members, they were in their own little sections. And basically, I had my paints so that I could just buzz around to each section and drop paint off on the paint plate. And they had a whole variety of brushes that they could use. It was really interesting to see the younger kids didn't really have much interest in mixing colors at all. They just, if they saw something in their minds as being blue, they just chose the one blue or the two blues that I had and they just put it in. Some of the older kids were more interested in blending colors, so and they interpreted the designs at each of them because basically I gave every kid one of these. So they just sat down on the ground with their paints and their paint plate and this, and they knew about where they were because I'd pointed out what section they were at. Um, but it was really interesting to see how they interpreted color. I think that was the most interesting. It's funny to see when some kids just look at something and it's brown and there's no variation whatsoever, and then others see a lot of variation.
That's really interesting to think about, like complexity and kind of like developing those skills, but also getting exposed to like, yeah, different colors. And um, yeah, with color, it always makes me think too of language, right? Like how we teach people, like there's one word for blue, right? But like there's so many tones and shades. And yeah, so it's cool to hear, kind of getting that hands-on experience and starting to develop some of those um, complex
Yeah.
thinking skills. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if because this was just a 1 day thing, and the goal was to kind of get as much as we can do done in 1 day, and not to mention it was very windy. It was a typical windy Guadalupe day. There wasn't a whole lot of time for coaching. I think down the road, if I were to do something like the project again, and we didn't have to do so much social distancing, or we were allowed to meet, several times before, then I would really spend some time teaching them about color theory and mixing because I feel like that's so important, and it would have benefited everybody if they knew that.
Right. Yeah, that was so one of my other questions was, do you have any advice or suggestions for, folks who want to get started in art or want to explore their creativity more, but maybe don't know where to start?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I just think it seems like the sky's the limit now. I mean, as far as you can look on the internet, you can look on YouTube for tutorials about anything. Um, that's that's one place that I think is amazing. So I think for anybody who wants to get started and doesn't isn't sure how, you can always look up some tutorials just to get you started. Also, I think having a goal, an end goal in mind is important, and then not necessarily knowing how to do everything, because that's kind of how it was for me. I have not done a large mural like this outdoors with kids. This was my first time, and because I didn't know how to do everything, I just kept sight of that end goal, and then I just what I didn't know I looked up, um, and I ended up getting some really nice paint for the kids to use, and I spent some time talking to the man who one of the representatives of this company. Whatever I didn't know, I asked. So I think that a great place to start is just think about what it is you're interested in, and then kind of think of that end goal, and then start putting keywords into the computer, or ask friends. I've also noticed there's a lot more uh, Zoom classes now online, locally and around the world, and you don't have to be um, you don't have to have a lot of money to do these classes. Some are absolutely free. So I hope that helps.
Yeah,
Like I said, I just feel like the sky's the limit as far as where people can find information, um, and you're not limited by your location anymore.
totally. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And it totally resonated with like I also teach at Cuesta and Hancock, and I go over like, how do you research things in all my classes? And it's funny because like people are just like, yeah, you like search for, like, I don't know, you look it up, it's all on the internet, like um,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, right, like that's so natural for young folks today. Is like if you don't know something, like there's somebody online who's talking about it in one way or another. And
That's
yeah, I
right.
love like, that it's creating opportunities for folks. Yeah, like you said, like to not just be limited by your location or what's available in your immediate environment, but have access to all kinds of different resources and possibilities.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, those are the questions I had prepared. Was there anything else that you wanted to share or add or make sure that we know about the project?
Um, well, I don't think so. I mean, it was like I said, it's still the mural's still not up. I've kind of been waiting for all the rain to pass before I go out, and because I'm gonna need to dig a couple large holes and put some concrete and posts in the ground. So eventually the mural's gonna get up, hopefully, or if it's, I'm hoping by the end of this month. Um, so it'll be so great to see the final product. Um, but yeah, no, I just love this project, and I hope that more projects like this can happen because you see wherever you go a need. In Guadalupe, we have a need for for people to come together. I don't know if you ever come out to Guadalupe, but there's a long row of basically a fence that years and years ago kids from school painted, and it looks, it's getting really faded, and it's getting covered with mold and that kind of thing. And it's one of those projects that somehow needs to be either redone or changed, or it's that kind of thing. You just uh, caring for a community takes it takes effort. And so these kind of projects exist everywhere, and wherever people can see the need for them, it would be great to come together.
Yeah, definitely. I've spent a lot of time in Guadalupe. My brother-in-law has a tire shop out there. And then I don't know if you ever went to Charlie's Place when it was open,
Yes,
but
yes.
my cousins own the restaurant, so we go out there all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, we would love to see. I mean, from an organizational point of view, Corazon would love to do more projects and programs in Guadalupe. So if there's ever an opportunity to work together on something, we'll definitely be in touch. And especially when we have, like you said, like opportunities to do things with less distance. Yeah, I would definitely love to talk to you more about doing like a program with the native garden, because that's another area that I'm really passionate about is um, getting people involved in gardening and caring for
Oh,
plants. And,
great. That's
um,
good to know because the garden, it's, I think because, it's like in many places wherever you have community outreach, you have certain people that do a lot, and many people who, for whatever reason, don't come into the projects very frequently. And so it's neat to know that there's interest because, the people that take care of the garden, they want to know that as well.
awesome. Yeah, and then was gonna say, let me know definitely when you do get it up in person, and either send me a picture or I mean, I'm gonna go by and see it either way. But um, yeah, I'm excited to see it, and we're still collecting other submissions too for the larger sort of showcasing kids art.
Okay,
So it might work out timing wise. We might be able to get a picture of the final product and put it all together. Um,
that sounds great. Well, thank you very much for interviewing me. It was a pleasure.
yeah, likewise. Thanks for chatting, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Alex.
All right, have a good day.